of the funniest things about living in the Netherlands as an American is that you realize a lot of things that are completely invisible to the Dutch. And look, man, y'all think I'm lying, but I meet somebody every day that's like, huh, I never thought about that. I mean, literally a couple of weeks ago, I was getting my internet set up at my new house, and me and the technician were just chopping it up. We must have talked for like 30 minutes. And look, he was a great guy. It was a great conversation, but then he hit me with the, wait, you're from LA? Why would you move here? So then we talked some more, and mind you, I'm giving him the whole spiel. I'm telling him how me and my wife just wanted to move for a better quality of life. We moved here without jobs, and pretty much nothing was given to us. Like, we ain't get nothing. Simply put, we don't get no tax breaks. Nothing was given to us. And when we moved here with our son, and he was like almost 2. So I'm telling the technician all this, and he's like blown away by the idea of like, why would you still move here? Like, still, why here? And he's saying this because he actually always wanted to go to LA based off what he's seen on TV. And as we start talking, and as he's kind of digging into me, trying to figure out why else would I leave, we start talking about the cost of things. And look, man, if I'm keeping it 1,000, this is probably the biggest thing that 90% of the Dutch people that I meet just completely forget about, or just don't realize how much cheaper things can be here compared to the things that we need back in the States. And I laugh at it, this is something that I do a lot. When people ask me why I left and they kind of pry a little bit, literally just break down like a basic cost of life in general back in the States. And that's when it clicks for people. I mean, one of the biggest reasons for bankruptcy in America is due to medical debt. And the list just continues all the way to the freaking phone bill. And yeah, this one is one of the biggest things that the Dutch don't even notice. It's just how expensive it can be living back in the States. Something else that the Dutch don't really notice is just how user-friendly employment and pivoting can be. And I am not saying that it's super easy to get a job, but what I have noticed when I talk to people is that it is fairly simple to pivot or just leave the job and do something else. Back at the cafe that I love to work at, I have a friend, and I've known this guy for maybe 2 years now. He got fed up with his job. He was kind of tired of doing the work that he was doing, and he literally just said, you know what, I'm thinking about becoming a train conductor. And no joke, he quit what he was doing, and a couple months later, now he's a train conductor. Like, wow. Oh, and matter of fact, he actually invited me to ride the train with him and like see the controls and all that. So don't look confused if you see a train video coming up. I'm just super saying. Side note here, go ahead and get this cookie. It's important for later. Go ahead. Last week, I actually ran into one of my old neighbors, and she was telling me how she was unhappy with her job. She did her studies and everything for this job. Started the career, did it for maybe a year, was not happy with it, wasn't for her, and so she pivoted to something completely different, and they're paying her to go back to school, finish up school while she's actually working. So she's also working like the actual job that she's trying to do. And look, those are just 2 examples. I keep hearing about this all the time. The people just keep telling me about they're unhappy doing this, so they're just gonna do that. And then they're gonna have to do this, or they wanna try this, so they just go and try it. And if school is involved, somehow the job pays for them to go to school to do what they're trying to do while they're doing their work. So man, when my old neighbor was telling me about this and this pivot, because we were on the train, as she was telling me about this, I'm asking all these questions like, wait, so what about like, isn't this expensive? What about school? What about loans? What about this? What about that? And you kind of tell when she's looking at me, she's just like, what about that? Like, like it's not a big deal. And just like I tell everybody who has these kind of stories that they share with me, I always say something like this is really, really hard to do back in the States. Like, I still remember at one point, I was gonna leave my job that I had at a studio and go to Stars and work for them, another TV company, right? I was gonna go, but I saw the benefits weren't that good as they were at the studio that I was at, and I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I don't think, I'm gonna just stay where I'm at. And this is even though the job looked amazing, it was great, but that's one thing I had to consider because look, I was married and me and my wife were considering having a family at the time, so I'm not just gonna up and leave the job if the benefits are like really good, especially if the health and dentals was like on point. Like I'm not gonna leave, even though it's still expensive. I'm just not gonna leave it. This is common here and it's okay. Like you don't have to worry about like losing certain benefits because you're transferring to a new job or doing something completely different. And one of the biggest reasons for this is that your health insurance is not tied to your job. And honestly, that's pretty much like one of the biggest reasons, because we all know that health insurance is like a big factor. I mean, we just talked about it. And on top of that, cost of going to school is not that high either. And also too, going back to school is extremely expensive. And a lot of people just cannot afford to do this back in the States. Cookie? And now look, I am not saying this is the case for everybody. I'm sure there's gonna be somebody, I'm sure there's gonna be somebody in the comments like, well, no, this was terrible for me and yada yada. Look, I'm just saying this is extremely hard in the States. It's a lot harder to do in the States because we get health insurance through our job. And if we don't get it through our job, it's extremely expensive. And you know what, I hate to say it and I feel bad, but like all them Doge cuts, yeah, man, I don't know. Dang, good thing we're not going back there today. It is packed. I thought about pulling up and getting a cappuccino, but dang, there's a lot of people back there. And now really quick, we do gotta give a huge shout out to today's member producer, Raising Narnia. Thanks so much for being a member producer because it does help out the channel a lot. And also too, we also gotta give a huge shout out to all the subscribers. And Pippin YouTube does let me know that a lot of you guys watching are not subscribed, so I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit that subscribe, it's $3.99. Go ahead. But no, seriously, man, I really appreciate you guys. And if you like what you're seeing, like, hype, and comment what you think so far. Something else that I think the Dutch just don't realize or notice is just how efficient a lot of the everyday things that we need are, like really are. So I remember telling a story in a video about getting my deep clean done. And I mentioned how the guy was just so quick with it and just so efficient. Like literally when it was time to go in, it was time for me to go in. I didn't have to wait 3 hours, nothing like that. It was just, okay, you're getting this done. Let's go. He was ready to go, right? Literally 45 minutes later, out the door. And in my experience, maybe 95% of appointments that I've had, it don't matter what it's for, have gone this way. It is on time, ready to go, and then done. The reason I bring this up because I cannot tell you how many times I will be talking to friends back in the States and they're talking to me on the phone because they're waiting for their appointment to start, even though they were there on time. They were there early and they still waiting an hour just to be seen. Oh, thank you, Val. I was literally talking to a friend 2 days ago and she was telling me how her appointment was at 9 and they didn't go in until 10:30. I was just like, oh my gosh. And then when they went in, it didn't even start until 11. But I say all this to say that it is not the case in the States like this. The States is just not that efficient. And it's funny when I'm back. Look, I've been here for 5 years, but I've been to the States probably 10 times. Since I moved here. I am not the type of person that just moved here and then just stay here and not go back to the States. Look, I'm literally hugging the block back in the States every year. Man, I can tell you it is extremely different. Like, efficient. Uh-oh, what are these people doing? And I think when I do go back to the States and I come back here, it is just so in your face. I mean, longer wait times and then public transport just not even showing up. I tell you how many times I've just tried to go to the bank and the wait, I have an appointment and everything, and that wait time just to the bank is like 45 minutes with the appointment. And now one of the biggest ones that I feel just flies way under the radar for a lot of people, and that is the simple fact that overall you have more freedoms and independence here. I don't care what nobody says. Look, trust me. I mean, because just the simple fact of you not being tied to your job for health insurance, because that's the most affordable way to get it, is a game changer. You know how many risks me and my family could take? Because this plays a huge role back to the whole employment and pivoting thing. This is a huge thing. And this is coming from a person, again, who moved here without a job. And something I forgot to mention was I took a huge pay cut moving here. Like, this is true. Like, I get paid a lot less here. And I still have more opportunities here than I had back in the States because the expenses were just getting so high. Like, every year, they're getting higher and higher. And I had a good job. And then when you think about kids, the kids are just more independent here. They're going outside, they're traveling, they're doing all of these things. Adults here get to sit down and go picnic and sit down and read and just be who they want to be and have hobbies. And I really think this one flies under the radar because people focus on like the negative parts of it, meaning like, well, yeah, our health insurance is not tied to our job, but it's getting a little pricey. But pimping, it is affordable. Trust me. I don't know how many times I can say this, but trust me, it is affordable. My friend pays $625. The girl that I was talking about earlier, $625 a month. That's just for her. That doesn't include her kids. And she just got quoted that it's gonna be going up another $75. I realized when I talk to her, my friends, as well as when I talk to family and when I'm there myself, you do have to rely on a lot of things. And it just seems like if one of those things come down, it's like a table and the table has 4 legs. If one of those legs just falls down, the table is tipping over. That's what it seems like. And here, we're not really faced with that. Now, side note, what I am faced with though is a Skypuccino with no cookie. Like he didn't even hook it up, man. Like I thought he was gonna give me a little macaron or something. He didn't get nothing. So look, go ahead and get on that Skypuccino. This is actually a pretty good Skypuccino, but go ahead and get down. Go ahead. You make videos too? Nay? And another one that I think a lot of people don't really notice is just the lack of social pressure living here. And I just mean from everything from the money, cars, material things, consuming things. The pressure is a lot lower. Matter of fact, a while ago, I even made a video talking about how it's less stressful here. And I think that's a big reason, or a big part of it. Like it almost feels like it's just naturally less stressful and less pressure put on yourself. It's a very hard way for me to explain it, but I'm telling you, a lot of the social pressures I had back in the States really don't exist for me here. Ain't nothing special about me. Look, I know I'm in this YouTube sensation, but ain't nothing special about me. And I do think a lot of it has to do with me being here. Like I have to super say, because I've always had these social pressures back in the States, no matter where I was, like whether it was Chicago, whether it was in Atlanta, or whether it was in LA, and even when I go to Michigan, you know, I ain't gonna lie, like Detroit, there's just these social pressures. And also too, there's just things that like I'm worried about and on edge about just naturally. Meanwhile, here though, side note, that sun is burning my arm, man. Gee. But yeah, meanwhile here, it's not the same. I don't have nearly the same amount of pressure on me as I had back in the States. And this is just something that I can just really wholeheartedly appreciate, because I can just live my life. I can just be me and be happy. You know what I mean? Like I'm just chilling. And the crazy about all of this is that nothing really has changed with me. Like me personally, yeah, I've changed with habits, but also I still go to work full time. I make videos. I have 2 kids. Like there's not, like literally me, the person, has more responsibilities today than I did when I lived back in the States, but I'm less stressed. And it's so funny, but when I talk to other people, parents and just people that I meet, you can tell that they're not really stressed out about a lot of things. Like you could just tell they're not all tired. They're not in a rush everywhere. Like some people I will meet just from the channel and we're talking for like an hour. And then I'm the one like, hey, I gotta get back to work. And then I would have to say the last thing that a lot of people don't really notice here is just how good the weather is. Now, I know I got a bunch of people in the comments ready to throw their phone or their computer out the window. Look, man, hear me out before you count me out, because my last trips to the States, both of them have really put this in my face, in a sense of like, because when I compared the Netherlands to the States, a lot of places I've lived personally has been just one extreme to the other, versus here, it is not the case at all. I mean, I even made a video recently talking about how the heat wave here actually wasn't even that bad. I mean, to me, it was hot, but it wasn't terribly hot. Like it was nowhere near when I was back in Georgia. And I told you, there was days I walked out the door and just instantly started sweating. But I do gotta mention this because of how many times people complain about the weather. Like, man, it blows my mind when, I don't know, man. I mean, it might just be me, but yeah, it's just not that bad. And look, man, I'm being dead serious though. Like, look, you know what? I'm gonna challenge everybody, especially if you live in the Netherlands. I'm gonna challenge you. Just pay attention to how the weather is where you live, especially if you live in the Netherlands, and let me know if it's as bad as some of the stuff that I've been through in Atlanta and in Chicago, and even in LA. I mean, them wildfires are crazy. Now look, man, I am not saying that I want some smoke. Look, I don't want no smoke from nobody. I'm just saying, just really pay attention to the weather. Because man, I do, and I guess I'm just happy that I could just be outside pretty much every day, any time of the year. I could be outside. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what I got wrong. Let me know what I got right. Let me know if I could have seen any of this differently. I would love to know. Big shout out to all the member producers as well as the subscribers. And as always, I hope you enjoyed it because I enjoyed making it. I will see you in the next one.